What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'm doing another NASCAR silly season update where I'll recap everything that's happened in 2024 to 2025 NASCAR silly season. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. Silly season would kick off in May, as Matt DiBenedetto will be returned to Viking Motorsports the remainder of the 2024 season, and likely be back with Viking Motorsports in 2025. Well, this has not been officially announced at this point. Matty D will likely be back at the Viking Motorsports team in 2025. Then it was confirmed in early May that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has signed a 3-year extension with JTG Daugherty Racing to continue driving a number 47 car. They're expected to be ownership shakeup at JTG Daugherty for 2025, as Tad and Jody Gashecki confirmed yesterday that they'll be over at Joe Gibbs Racing. They're currently working at Joe Gibbs Racing at this moment, but Stenhouse will be staying with JTG Daugherty going forward. Then it was confirmed in early May that Michael McDowell will be joining Spire Motorsports full-time in 2025, driving a number 71 car. And according to reports, it's a multi-year deal. They'd offer a longer contract, and they'll be bringing a lot more money in, as Spire has Gamebridge coming in, and of course Andretti's rumored to be coming in as well. Michael McDowell will be joining Spire Motorsports in 2025. Then it was confirmed after Darlington Week that Chris Buescher had signed a multi-year contract extension with RFK Racing last year. Buescher's been very solid at RFK Racing for many years, and I think will continue for many years to be one of the best drivers in the NASCAR Cup Series for many years and many seasons to come. There's been a lot of talk about Junior Motorsports, and early in the year it had been confirmed that Junior Motorsports most likely would not be getting a charter and moving up to Cup full-time in 2025, but they're still very interested in going Cup racing. Obviously, Dale Jr. mentioned at Bristol, they're still very interested. They're looking to acquire a charter in the future, or maybe get an investor involved and maybe invest in a team like Spire, perhaps, or JTG Daugherty. Junior Motorsports is still looking interested to go Cup Series racing. Then during May, Carl Edwards, of course, was announced to be inducted in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. But at the time, he said he had no plans to return to NASCAR to drive. However, very recently, Denny Hamlin mentioned this on his podcast, Actions Detrimental, that he did say that 2311 does have a car ready for him just in case he ever wants to come back. Carl Edwards did say that if he wanted to come back, it would have to be basically if the horsepower was increased. So NASCAR, let's increase the horsepower so Carl Edwards can come back. But he does say he's interested in going into a booth role, and maybe he said he needs more commitment. But Carl Edwards has expressed a little interest, but it sounds like right now he's not fully planning to return, but he could plan to return in the not-so-distant future. Then it was confirmed in late May that Austin Dillon has signed a multi-year extension with Richard Childress Racing. There have been conversation about Austin Dillon retiring at the end of this year to move to more of an executive role, but Austin Dillon for the near future will stick around with RCR going into 2025 and 2026. Then it was confirmed in early June that Stewart-Haas Racing will be shutting down at the end of 2024. A lot of drivers already found their places for the 2025 season. After a lot of success and a couple championships, SHR will officially be gone at the end of this season. One team that's expected to pick up a charter from Stewart-Haas Racing is 2311 Racing, as they look to expand to a 3-car operation in 2025. However, there are charter disagreements going on, and they have recently sued NASCAR. Michael Jordan, 2311, and Front Row have all sued NASCAR very recently, but they're planning to get litigation, and 2311 Racing is expected, like I said, to expand to a 3-car operation in 2025. Then it was also confirmed in early June that Todd Gillen has signed a multi-year contract extension with Front Row Motorsports. While the number is still to be announced at this particular moment and point, many believe that he'll be staying in the number 38 car. With the success he's shown so far this year, he'll stick around with Front Row Motorsports for the long-term and foreseeable future. One driver that's expected to join 2311 Racing in 2025 is Riley Herbst. His name has been linked over the last couple months as a major possibility and potential candidate to go to 2311. Obviously, with the charter disagreement going on and all that stuff happening, it could put that on hold, but Riley Herbst is still the likely candidate and the favorite to join 2311 Racing in 2025. Then it was confirmed during Iowa Week that Mark Truex Jr. will be retiring from full-time racing at the end of this year. But he is expected to return on a part-time basis in 2025 with 2311 Racing in a 4th car, including in the Daytona 500 with Cole Pearn as the crew chief. It's also expected he's going to run Rockingham in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and probably get some starts with Joe Gibbs Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025. It was also confirmed during Iowa weekend that Kyle Busch was expected to be returning to Richard Childress Racing in 2025. Kyle has stated at one point that he really wasn't interested in coming back to RCR, but Kyle Busch will be sticking around with RCR, and I do think 2025 could be his last year at Richard Childress Racing. He could move on at that point, but Kyle Busch for now will be sticking around and staying with RCR next season. Then it was confirmed in late June or July that Josh Berry officially joined the Wood Brothers in 2025, driving the number 21 car. He'll replace Harrison Byrne, who we'll talk about here in just a short little bit. We don't know who the crew chief is currently at the moment for Josh, but will go to the Wood Brothers in the 2025 season. It was confirmed in early July or late June that Chase Briscoe will be joining Joe Gibbs Racing full-time in 2025, driving a number 19 car. It's also expected that James Small is going to be the crew chief, and Ambassador Shops is going to be the majority sponsor for this car in 2025. We don't know the other sponsors coming over at this time and point, but Chase Briscoe will go to JGR officially in the 2025 season. It was then shockingly confirmed in early July that Rodney Childress will be joining Spire Motorsports in 2025 to be the crew chief for the number 7. Rodney Childress leads SHR after a long tenure over there. He's been known as someone who could build up drivers and teams overall. I think Rodney Childress is going to bring a lot to the table for Spire Motorsports in 2025. Then it was confirmed in the middle of July that Noah Grace would be joining Front Row Motorsports in 2025 on a multi-year deal. It was thought he might drive the 34 car, but it sounds like the number 4 is potentially the number they're going to use for Noah Grace, and S will likely get that number for the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. Then it was confirmed that Trackhouse Racing has sold a minority stake to Avenue Sports Fund. Mark Lasbury and his group is over there, who has a lot of money. Former owner of the Milwaukee Bucks is going to bring a lot to the table and will bring a lot of money to the organization going forward as they look to continue building up their program and get a lot better. Then it was confirmed at Indianapolis week that Cole Custer will be joining the Haas factory team full-time in 2025, driving a number 41 car. Aaron Kramer, who's been the engineer for Chris Buescher in recent years, will be the crew chief for Cole Custer in the 2025 season. We'll see what Cole can do in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2025. Then it was confirmed in early August that Connor Zilisch will be joining Junior Motorsports full-time in 2025, driving a number 88 car. It was also confirmed yesterday that WeatherTech will be sponsoring for a majority of races in the 2025 season, and there will be some other sponsors working with them throughout the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Xfinity Series season. Then it was also confirmed during that same week that Daniel Suarez will be returning to Trackhouse Racing in 2025. We had thought it would be a multi-year deal for Suarez, but it's only a one-year extension for Suarez. So Daniel Suarez is going to have to put up the numbers. Otherwise, Daniel Suarez could be on the chopping block at Trackhouse at the end of the 2025 season. There's been a lot of talk that Taylor Gray could be joining Joe Gibbs Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025, driving a number 19 car. Taylor Gray has been driving select starts for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at JGR this year, and it sounds very likely that if he does well enough and continues to perform very well, that he'll likely be joining this team in 2025. It's also expected that William Swalch will be joining Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025 as well. He'll make his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut in the next couple weeks at Homestead Miami Speedway. He'll likely be in the number 18 car, replacing Sheldon Creed, we'll talk about here in just a short little bit. But William Swalch is likely going to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025. This means more than likely that Chandler Smith will be out at Joe Gibbs Racing at the end of this year. There has been talk about him maybe going to Front Row Motorsports for 2025, but I feel like that deal's kind of gone out the window in recent weeks. I'm not sure what the future for Chandler Smith lines up, but it doesn't sound like at this point that Chandler Smith will be returning. He could return, but I don't expect him to return in 2025. Then it was confirmed in the middle of August that Eric Jones has signed a multi-year contract extension with Legacy Motor Club through the 2026 season. There have been talks about him maybe going to Spire Motorsports for 2025 to drive the number 7 car, but he'll be sticking around with Legacy Motor Club for the long term and the foreseeable future. It was also confirmed during that same week that AJ Allmendinger would be returning to the NASCAR Cup Series full-time in 2025, driving a number 16 car for Kaulig Racing. AJ's had a lot of success in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in recent years, but I think he shouldn't have been brought back down to Xfinity. I think this was the right decision for Kaulig. He'll move back up to the NASCAR Cup Series in 2025. Then there began to be a lot of reports about RFK Racing potentially expanding in 2025, and it sounds very likely they are going to expand to a 3-car operation next season. Sounds like Kroger is moving over to that organization with them leaving JTG at the end of the year, and it sounds like Ryan Preece is a lead candidate to get the 3rd seat. While it's not been officially announced by RFK or JTG Doherty on these moves, we do believe that Kroger will be leaving, and Ryan Preece will likely be the driver of this team in 2025. Then it was confirmed during Michigan weekend that Sheldon Creed and Sam Mayer will join Haas factory team in 2025. Sheldon Creed is going to drive the 00 car, and Sam Mayer is going to drive the 41 car. Both drivers bring sponsorship and funding to the table, which is why both the drivers are getting the rides and opportunities. They'll be going over to the Haas factory team full-time in 2025. This means Hailie Deegan's future in NASCAR is currently uncertain. Now, she'll be competing in some Indy Light starts potentially in the future and is making some starts, I believe, at Circuit Americas and has been competing in Nitro Cross recently where she got a top 5. She probably won't be back in NASCAR fully at this point. If she does come back, it might just be on a part-time basis, but likely will not be full-time in NASCAR anytime soon. Then it was confirmed during Daytona week that Daniel Dye will be joining Kaulig Racing full-time in 2025, driving a number 10 car. He'll basically have the number 97 team from this year. His crew chief will likely be Kevin Walter, who's been the crew chief of the number 97 car this year recently. Daniel Dye will go full-time and look to run really well in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025. It was also confirmed that Josh Williams will be returning to Kaulig Racing in 2025 and will continue driving the number 11 car. There was talk about him maybe leaving at the end of the year, but Josh Williams, with the sponsorship he brings in the funding, will stick around with Kaulig Racing in 2025. It was also confirmed around the same time that Sammy Smith will be returning to Junior Motorsports in 2025, most likely the number 8 car, but there has been some talk about him maybe going to the number 9 car for next season. Sammy's had an okay year, just picked up the win, of course, at Talladega very recently. He'll stick around with Junior Motorsports in 2025. It was also confirmed that Justin Allgaier would be returning to Junior Motorsports in 2025, driving a number 7 car once again. With the funding he brings from Brandt, this is a no-brainer. He'll stick around with JRM for the foreseeable future next season. Then it was confirmed that Zane Smith would not be returning to Trackhouse Racing in 2025 or the Trackhouse family altogether. He currently is the favorite right now to join Front Row Motorsports in the 2025 season. He's looking to bring some sponsorship over there. He does have a little bit of funding with him. And Zane Smith obviously has had a lot of success with the organization of Front Row, won a championship with them in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and wanted to go with this team full-time. But Zane Smith will be going over to Front Row Motorsports in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. Most likely not confirmed, but most likely what is expected to happen. Then it was officially confirmed in recent weeks that Ty Dillon will be joining Kaulig Racing full-time in 2025, driving a number 10 car. Ty Dillon's bringing sponsorship and funding to the organization for next year, and obviously we know we'll talk about Ty Norris here in just a short little bit, but Ty Dillon is bringing a little funding and will drive the number 10 car as they get it from SHR, and the 31 number will go back to NASCAR for next season. Then it was confirmed during Daytona week that Shane Van Gisbergen will be joining the Cup Series full-time in 2025 with Trackhouse Racing. The number SVG will use is a number 88, and he'll have WeatherTech as a sponsor for a ton of races next year, including in the Busch Light Clash at Bowman Gray, and potentially also in the Daytona 500 as well. Steven Durand, who was a crew chief for Zane Smith, will be the crew chief for him this year, and he'll have Josh Williams as a spotter for 2025. SVG is looking to have a really solid and strong year in 2025. Then it was confirmed during Southern 500 weekend that Christian Eckes will be joining Kaulig Racing full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025, driving a number 16 car. There have been a little bit of conversation about him making select Cup Series starts, but he'll focus fully on the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025 as he looks to build up the season. Then it was confirmed about a couple weeks ago that Brandon Jones will be returning to Joe Gibbs Racing full-time in 2025. We don't know the number at this point, but it does sound like more than likely that Brandon Jones will get back behind the wheel of the number 19 car that he had in the NASCAR Xfinity Series when he drove for them a couple years and seasons ago. It's also expected that Roger Carruth will be returning to the Truck Series in 2025, most likely with Spire Motorsports. While it's not been officially confirmed and announced at this point, this is likely to happen as Roger has been pretty good with this team this season. Then it was confirmed about a month ago that Kyle Larson will be running the 2025 Indianapolis 500 once again with Arrow McLaren. We do think he'll prioritize a Coke 600, even though I think if he wins the Indy 500, he'll probably prioritize that. But Kyle Larson will once again run the Indianapolis 500 in 2025. Then it was confirmed during that same press conference that Alex Bowman would be returning to Hendrick Motorsports in 2025, driving a number 48 car. There have been some conversation about Alex Bowman losing his seat at Hendrick Motorsports, maybe going to Spire Motorsports, but Alex Bowman will stay committed in return to Hendrick Motorsports organization for the 2025 season. Then it was shockingly confirmed about a month ago as well that Parker Kligerman would not be returning to Big Machine Racing in 2025 as he'll retire from full-time racing. Parker Kligerman will focus on part-time starts. He'll probably do some TV stuff going into the 2025 season, but he officially will not return to the organization once again in 2025. His replacement for 2025 is going to be Nick Sanchez, who will join Big Machine Racing full-time in 2025 in the number 48 car. Nick will be bringing Gamebridge up to the organization, so they'll have a technical alliance most likely with Spire. I think this is a big move for Nick, as he'll move up to the NASCAR Xfinity Series full-time, and he's had starts with this team in the past. Then it was confirmed about 2 weeks ago that Bubba Wallace has signed a multi-year contract extension with 2311 Racing. He'll stick around in the number 23 car through 2026. Makes a lot of sense considering the fact that Bubba Wallace has brought sponsorship to the team and has had a lot of success with 2311 Racing over the years. And I think that he'll continue to bring a lot of success. He's had 12 top 10s so far this year. He's had a pretty solid year in the NASCAR Cup Series. It was also confirmed during the same Bristol weekend that Lane Riggs will be returning to Front Row Motorsports in 2025, driving a number 38 car. He's been strong the last few weeks, had a really strong start to the playoffs, 2 wins so far this season. He'll stick around and drive the number 38 car once again in 2025. Then it was confirmed on that same Friday that Harrison Burton would be joining AM Racing full-time in 2025, driving a number 15 car. Harrison Burton has had a ton of success so far not a lot of success, but he's someone who's had success in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in the past. He will have Danny Evelyn as a crew chief, who was a former driver for JD Motorsports back in the day. He'll be looking to run really well with AM Racing in the 2025 season. Then it was also confirmed that same week that Ty Norris will be joining Colleague Racing as the Chief Business Officer. It was confirmed he would not be returning to Trackhouse Racing. He's looking to build up Trackhouse going forward. There's no hard feelings between both of the people working at the organization. Ty Norris will join Colleague Racing in 2025 and stick around going forward. It was also confirmed during the Bristol week that Dale Jr. will not be running any races in 2025 in NASCAR. Jr. says his focus will be on doing a couple late model races, and of course with his TV commitments, he won't have an opportunity to race in NASCAR. So Dale Jr. will be focused on TV stuff in the 2025 season. It was also confirmed that Justin Haley would be joining Spire Motorsports full-time in 2025, driving a number 7 car. They're having talk about him maybe going to Hendrick Motorsports potentially, but Justin Haley will stick around with Spire for the rest of this season and be building up the relationship, and we'll have Ronnie Childers as a crew chief. Justin Haley, a very solid driver, just got a top 10 at Talladega. He's looking for a really good end of this year and building toward next year in 2025. Let's talk about Corey LaJoie. Corey LaJoie is also expected to join Rooker Racing full-time in 2025. He's currently in a trial run at this particular moment in point, but Corey LaJoie is at this moment expected to be full-time with Rick Ware and looks to bring some of the sponsorship he already had at Spire Motorsports going into this year and this season. It was also confirmed about a week or so ago that Matt Mills will be returning to Nice Motorsports in 2025, driving a number 42 truck. Matt Mills got a really solid finish, was running up front of Talladega, but didn't have the best finish in the world. He'll be looking to run really well going into next year, really trying to build up. He's not had a great year in the truck series. He's looking to run really good this year with Nice Motorsports in 2025. Then it was confirmed about a week or so ago that Daniel Hemrick would not be returning to Colleague Racing in 2025. While it's unknown at this point where Daniel Hemrick will be headed in 2025, there has been talk about him maybe going to McAnally-Hilgeman in the Craftsman Truck Series. He's got some sponsorship with him. He will not be back in Cup next year. He'll likely be headed over to McAnally-Hilgeman potentially as a rumor at the moment. We also expect that Corey Heim will be returning to the Craftsman Truck Series in 2025, which is a shame as I feel like Corey Heim is ready to make the jump up the Cup. He's had 11 wins so far this year, or in his career, I should say, but I think he's ready to make the jump up the Cup. He'll probably make some select Xfinity Series starts next year as well, but he will be returning to the Truck Series full-time, most likely in 2025. Then about a week or so ago, it came out and was reported that Oscar Piastri has expressed interest in racing in NASCAR potentially. He's expressed doing a driver swap with Kyle Larson perhaps, as Larson would like to do some Formula One stuff in the future potentially. But it would be pretty cool to see this, and it looks like maybe Oscar Piastri could have the chance and opportunity to come to NASCAR in some way, shape, or form, or some sort of capacity. Then it was confirmed last week that Katie Honeycutt would be joining Nice Motorsports full-time in 2025, driving a number 45 truck. Katie Honeycutt's been really solid with Nice Motorsports this year, has had a chance to win a few races, and I think he'll do a really solid and good job with Nice Motorsports once again in the 2025 season. It was also confirmed last week that Carson Quaffle will be joining Junior Motorsports full-time in 2025, driving number 1 car. While the crew chief has not been announced, we do think the crew chief of the number 88 could be his crew chief for next year, and I think Carson Quaffle's been really solid with JRM this year, and I think he's absolutely earned the right and opportunity to be full-time with JRM in 2025. Then it was confirmed on the FS1 broadcast that Christian Rose is expected to join the Truck Series full-time in 2025. While it's unknown what team he's going to drive for in the 2025 season, I think Rayon could be a possibility if AM Racing wants to bring back their truck program. That could also be a possibility, but Christian Rose most likely will be in the Truck Series full-time in 2025. Then it was confirmed, and something that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, is Trackhouse Racing is looking to potentially run the Rolex 24. There has been talk about it maybe making this as a possibility for next season, and I could see drivers like Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch and maybe Kyle Larson or Kyle Busch getting this chance and opportunity. I think we could see this potentially happen. Maybe if Kurt Busch ever want to do that, that'd be cool as well. But Trackhouse Racing is looking to potentially run the Rolex 24 in the next couple years and couple of seasons. And finally, there was a little bit of an interesting article that Hickey93 brought up on Twitter, but it looks like Alex Poe is expressed interest in racing in NASCAR. Maybe doing like a one-off start on a road course, perhaps. It'd have to be special circumstances for something like this to happen, but Alex Poe is very interested in coming into the NASCAR world, and I think it's very interesting he's looking at this and using this as a potential possibility for 2025. He could come to NASCAR in the not-so-distant future. So, that is going to be it for the NASCAR Silly Season Update. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support my Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts on today's episode. What are your thoughts about the Silly Season Update? Let me know it in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we'll have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. We are also going to have Xfinity Series race picks for the Charlotte Roval. And then on Thursday, we'll have Cup picks for the Charlotte Roval and the paint scheme video. If any major news breaks throughout the rest of the week, we'll discuss it here live on the channel. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.